Welcome to the Off Tackle with John Fina show on the Overreaction Sports Network. Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome everybody into the Off Tackle with John Fina show on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by Believe and brought to you exclusively on Victory Mondays by Big Bear Barbecue Supply Store in Buffalo, your source for sauce in Buffalo, New York, the only barbecue supply store that is not a hardware store pretending to be a barbecue supply store in Buffalo. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. That guy right there is John Fina. You can find him on Twitter at John Fina. John Fina, former Buffalo Bill, former offensive tackle for the Buffalo Bills. And we want you to do us a favor. We want you to like, we want you to subscribe, whatever platform you're consuming this vidcast or podcast on. Please do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button, that like button, and please subscribe, hit the notifications, all that good stuff. And always remember, if you miss a live video from us, you can always go to any podcast platform that's out there and download all of our content. Just type in Overreaction Buff or Overreaction Buffalo, which also I could tell you about our website, because we never talk about it enough, do we, John?
We never talk about it enough. That is for sure.
So we have a website. It's overreactionbuffalo.com. And on that website, you can get all of our content. You can also keep up to date on all the Bills press conferences. There's also a tab on that website that says On the Wire, Bills on the Wire, and every national media article that's out there, ESPN, NFL Network, Fox Sports, you name it. Every single national media article that's out there is on that page, but you got to go to overreactionbuffalo.com. John Fina, happy Veterans Day. I know you're not a veteran, but happy Veterans Day. And hopefully you thanked a vet today. I'm sure you did. And happy Victory Monday.
I did. My father's a vet, so I did. I thanked my father. Chuck-a-doodle-doo. Yes, I did.
Awesome. My dad is also a vet.
Yeah.
And I thanked him on the Aftermath show along with all the other vets. But super thankful and grateful for all of your service. Those of you that served and sacrificed minutes, days, hours, years of your lives to provide us the freedom to do this very thing that you and I are doing right now. Speak freely about whatever we want to talk about. Right?
Ooh, speaking freely. I love speaking freely, Joe. And speaking freely, I have to tell you, I can't find the read. So if you want to send it over to me.
I don't have it. Why would I have your read?
I don't know. I can't seem to find it. I'm searching my email real quick, but
I don't think you emailed it to yourself. I think you edited it and downloaded it. We'll get to the read in a minute, so keep looking. What we'll do is I'll have some conversation while I welcome those of you that have joined the comment section, the chat section. Welcome Richard Rush, Double R, my man, never misses a show. Daniel Gowries, good to have you, and everybody else that's joining us. If you are in the YouTube channel, make yourself known. Go in there, just say hello. There's a lot of you that lurk on YouTube and listen and read the comments, but never actually say hello. So if you were in the comment section, please do us a favor. Please say hello. But we're here to talk about the 8-2 Buffalo Bills. We talked about it last night on the Overreaction podcast. Oh, there's a new guy right there. What's up, Ed? I'm going to say hello to you with over here on this other page that I have open. We're here to talk about the Buffalo Bills 8-2 record, as well as this game against the Colts. The Buffalo Bills are in a unique position, a position they have not been in since 1993, which is
that's crazy.
Tremendously, it is crazy. Tremendously awesome.
I can't even imagine that.
And it's funny because they've got a slate of 4 games ahead of them, 3 or 4 games ahead of them, that are beyond challenging when you look at who they're playing: Rams, 49ers, the Chiefs as well. It's going to be a tough sled. There's one more in there that I can't think of off the top of my head that's relative.
Yeah, Richard Rush. Come on, who is it?
Relatively difficult.
I just read it today. Rams, 49ers, Chiefs, and
somebody else, but
somebody else,
anyways, they've got a tough
Lions or the loins. Richard Rush, bringing the loins to the comments. Killer.
Nice. But awesome. what we're looking at is a Buffalo Bills team that's dealing with some injuries, And despite the injuries that they've been having all throughout the season, they've been playing pretty well, winning football games, stacking wins. And on the aftermath today, John, basically I said, stop worrying about the way they're winning and just worry about them winning. Because if we're going to secure the number 1 or number 2 seed, all that matters is the dub. And that's kind of where we are. But you've settled on this game. You've gotten into the all-22 a little bit. Thoughts, comments? How you feeling about the way the Bills played the Colts yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this over and over, and we'll just reiterate it, right? I'd still rather be the team that finishes strong in the second half instead of walking in, beautiful uniform in the first half and looking all flash, right? Because tables turned in the second half, and I'd still rather be on the momentum side of the second half than, strutting into after the first half and the halftime thinking you got it figured out, and you come out and you get whacked a little bit. So no surprise there, Joe. We tend to make things a little harder for ourselves in the first half. We really would like to. I said it last night. I said it over and over. Josh made about 3 bad throws, and 2 of them were really bad, and one of them could have been like critical mass bad, right?
Right.
So I feel like we got off the hook a little bit, but when you look at the upside of that, and you're like, "Oh, what upside are you talking about?" If we could survive sort of a 70, I think it was a 70 QBR rating for our MVP guy, right?
QBR was 45, I think, or 54.
Woo!
It was
Which
low.
one have I got? The one on ESPN. I thought that was
we are getting spammed for the first time in a very, very long time.
Richard, don't you have the wrench? Daniel, you got the wrench. What's going on?
I do too as well.
I don't know what that means. We must have arrived, Joe. We're getting spam botted.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my overarching point is, as fans, you get a little excited seeing the other team have great success in the first half, and then we sort of have to come back and wait for the big reveal in the second half. And the Bills delivered. They shut down the run game on defense. They were really hawkish in the secondary, which was great to see. I think if I were to say, what would I like to see a little bit more? I'd like to see our rookie in the secondary get a little time, get a little action, get some grease flowing, right?
Yeah. You're talking about Cole Bishop, obviously, right? When you said the rookie.
Yeah, Cole Bishop.
I don't know that you're wanting to put him in against the Chiefs or the 49ers.
No,
or the Lions.
About the last game. I'm talking about the last game.
Oh, the last game, right? Yeah, that was a pretty good opportunity to start rolling some guys in. I think the issue was the defense starts out hot, right? And then the offense stumbles its way into the game like it has in many games this year. And then the defense finds it, and we end up with 10 points, but then the defense starts letting up a little bit as the Colts find themselves begin to execute, and obviously some adjustments had to be made. I think it just provided an environment where the Bills maybe didn't feel comfortable saying, hey, why don't we trot some guys out there? I think best case scenario, they would have liked to have gotten up by 20 points, 17 points early, and then done just that. Throw Cole Bishop in, throw a bunch of guys in, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to find the right spots to get guys like that back on the field. You don't want Cole Bishop to, and I don't know the kid, right? Maybe he doesn't even think about the Houston game where you had a couple of gaffes.
Right.
But you still want to get guys in there. I mean, we've seen it already this year. You're only one play away from being a starter in this league. Ask Jerry O. He was one play away, and then, holy crap, he spent 7 years or 8 years as a starter. So, you don't want to be Wally Pipp, but we certainly hope we have a Lou Gehrig somewhere on the bench, right?
It's funny because Ralph Wilson Sr. asks the question, can the Bills beat the Kansas City Chiefs? I would lay it out there for the Chiefs, the Lions, the 49ers, and the Rams. Can the Bills beat any of these 4 teams effectively playing one half of football? I'm going to ask you that question after I finish setting it up. And this is with the understanding that the Bills are slow started. They're clearly a second half team. Dare I say they have a tendency to ugly the game down, which is weird for me to ask you that question because you came from a very precision-based, precise, flash offense early in your career. Obviously that changed, when Todd Collins came in and then like the quarterbacks that followed Todd Collins. What do they got to do to start quicker. What do they got when you were playing and you guys were just, for whatever reason, execution, missed assignments, just getting your butts kicked, whatever it was? How did you reverse that to where you were starting fast, or is that just a fun phrase, coach speak, that people like to say? We need to start faster.
Well, first of all, what I would say is, if you're gonna punt, you don't want to be punting inside your own 30, right?
Right.
So even on the first drive of the game, I think we picked up one first down. We were punting from our 35 or 33. I can't remember which. I'm all right with that, right? What I don't want is you come out and it's 3 and out and you're, 4th and 10.
Right.
Whatever you got to do, you got to flip the field. So as much as I'd love to say, let's start fast, and of course everybody wants to, I think our team, if they're charting plays, if they're saying we're going to run these 10 plays, if we're going to script 10 in some order or another based on down and distance, then we're going to do that. We're going to get through them. I don't think we should have that expectation that we'll have a fast start. Now, conversely, you might have that success and get there. But I think as long as you flip the field, I'm okay with that. Like, you're out there, you're getting the juices flowing. It's the first drive of the game. If I can get to the plus 49 and we're stuck, we can punt them inside the 10 or the 15. I consider that a form of a fast start where I've flipped the field at the very least.
Right. I don't.
Let's go back to the other question, right?
Okay.
So playing one half of football, can we beat the Chiefs? Can we beat the Loins, the Rams, and the Niners? Now, I have not paid a lot of attention to the Rams or the Niners, but yes, the answer is yes, because we saw the Loins last night played really almost like maybe 20 minutes of football, and they won their game. And then additionally, I don't think Kansas City has been putting up more than a couple of quarters a game, and they pulled it out. And
Andy in the comment section said Casey is only playing about one quarter a game, so maybe we can beat them.
It's working for him, baby. You go with what works. I don't advise it. That's not my recommendation as a former assistant JV offensive line coach, but it is certainly possible.
You said former as of a week and a half ago.
That's right. I'm still waiting on my severance check.
John Fina.
It's going to be a ham sandwich and some off-brand gummy bears.
John Fina has officially hung up the coach's whistle. He is retired. It's over. There was no celebration. There was no ceremony. There was nothing but just John walking off into the sunset with his clipboard.
Absolutely.
That's hysterical. Well, let's get into some plays as far as this game goes. When we talk about the trenches, the Bills in the trenches have been pretty good this year. They've played some good teams in the trenches as well. So I'm excited to see kind of what you come up with, because there's some quality dudes. Quentin Nelson is a future Hall of Famer on this offensive line. If you've got some Colts stuff, but I'll let you kind of take the controls and take us for a ride there, John.
Okay, it's pronounced loins.
My bad. For this show, it's the loins, the Detroit Loins.
Just to set the stage a little bit, I did pick all Colts running plays just for kicks, right? Because in the first half, we kind of got beat down. And in the second half, that flipped. So I just wanted to kind of talk people through a little bit why they were having success and, where we can kind of go. So I'll just run this play from the beginning. And this is tossed to the right. Not a particularly successful play. I put this up for my benefit alone, Joe. And the reason is I have not been soft on Groot. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have been, I wouldn't say critical, but waiting with bated breath. So here we go. Here's Groot on the edge. Fantastic awareness for where the block is coming. It's a toss to his side, toss to the Colts right, our left. And what Groot does here is just absolutely fantastic. He's so quick, he beats this guy off the ball. But the important part is he ducks, right? He changes direction. It's like an NBA player. Bang. And now he doesn't end up making the tackle per se, but what he does, he causes the running back to continue to bounce.
Right.
And now he can't bounce. Now he's going to turn back in. Now he's going to bounce out again. And we've got Christian Benford out in space. and we have that looks like Terrell Bernard right there. And this is John Fina like, hey, give Groot a little bit of a break, play. Here we go. Play it all the way through. This is him the entire play. He causes this destruction. Really terrific.
Sorry, I'm looking something up while you're doing that. I apologize. So it was tweeted out today per PFR, and I'm not necessarily sure who PFR is. Greg Rousseau is tied for first in tackles for loss, tied for fourth in QB hits this year, tied for fourth in QB knockdowns, tied for ninth in QB pressures.
Great.
Yeah, he's playing, and I said this on the aftermath today as well. To your point, I don't know that we're giving him the credit that he probably deserves this year. Like, it feels like he's playing more consistently than we're.
I totally agree, and that's why I brought this up, because I have been watching him over this season, and his level of play is far better than it was last year. And what it's doing now is it's showing up in moments where it matters. And, I don't feel like, oh, well, now I have to praise him. I wanted to see a little bit more of this last year. I want to see him be consistent this year. This is a terrific play by him. I'm going to drop this. Go ahead.
So that play was made effectively because he beats his first guy and then effectively causes the running back to reroute and then think twice and continue to bounce. Gotcha.
Yep.
One guy makes all the difference in this play, right?
Right. And I'm going to show you the last clip about how two guys make an entire play, and you're going to love that one.
Awesome.
All right. Let's talk about our linebackers a little bit, Joe. Love our linebacker duo, but sometimes early in the game, they don't get their fits right. They're not as aggressive as we need them to be. Or sometimes they're when I say aggressive, I mean into the line of scrimmage, and sometimes they're way too aggressive with flow. And we ended up with a problem on this play because they flowed too much, right? So I've got Dorian Williams on a split zone, and he just over pursues. I'll run it for you. He just comes flying out into space. So take a look. So initially, on the snap of the ball, we're going to run Terrell Bernard up into the B gap, okay? So on the snap, Terrell's taking the B gap. Dorian Williams has got a scrape. Now, they're running split zone, which means the offensive line is going to their right or our left as we're looking at it. And the tight end is going to come across and kick out A.J. Epinesa. Effectively, A.J. Closes the distance, but from right here, you can see Dorian Williams is just flying out into space. He needs to settle down right there, and he ends up taking 2, 3, or 4 more steps. And now he's completely outflanked by Jonathan Taylor. Go ahead.
I was going to say, put yourself in his helmet for a minute. Put like where you're looking through. So back it up. Yeah, like that frame right there. What is causing him from what he can see around Bernard and the guy that's blocking Bernard? What is causing him to like want to seal the edge on the opposite side of Epinesa? It seems like the natural key, the natural fit is where you're telling him to go. What is he seeing?
It's the second quarter. The game isn't really new anymore, but I think, and what really kind of boggles me about this is the Bills run a lot of split zone. So you saw a lot of this, Dorian. And with Bernard taking the B gap like that, he knows that run support has got to be coming from the corner and the safety at the hash mark or outside. A.J. Epinesa plays this perfectly. And this is set up for Dorian just to sit right in this space between the two of them, make the tackle. A little too much energy, a little too much flow, and he's way out of position, as you can see right there.
So this isn't even really an over pursuit situation. He just reads his key wrong, right? I mean,
he over pursues. It's he's looking at this guy cutting Epinesa right here. I'm sorry, right here. I can see my cursor. You cannot.
Correct. On the right-hand side of the screen. Yeah.
Correct. On the right-hand side of the screen. But my expectation is that this play typically hits between the tackles, up the middle, as people might say. And he should be settling into the B gap between the offensive tackle and Epinesa. He escapes, and man, he just runs right down the hash. Yikes, down to the 10-yard line. I believe on this drive, we did hold them to a field goal. I cannot confirm because I didn't bring my notes. Well, all right. So
Before you pull up another one,
yeah,
did you find your read?
yeah, I did.
Awesome. Well, let's do the quick read before you do your final two plays,
You know how I
and
do
you
my
can talk
read.
about the sauce that matters.
Heck yeah, man. Listen, today, Joe, I texted you my pictures. I used the trifecta rub from
Oh,
Big Bear Barbecue Supplies, man. I'm telling you, I used it today at 425 French Road in Depew, New York. Bill's Mafia. It's the only grill store in Buffalo. It's the only grill supply store for the flavors. It's not a hardware store. Mean Joe Green is specific to barbecue. You go in there, you're going to see things you can't find anywhere else. The things you have to order from 13 different places online. He's got the rarest and the coolest, as well as the local. He's a local guy. He carries local brands. Get over to Depew, 425 French Road in Depew, right by Antoinette's. Everybody knows where that is, right? Get over to the Big Bear Barbecue Supply, Grilling Supply. Go see Mean Joe Green. Tell them that John Fina, Joe Miller, and Jerry Ostrowski sent you. Get 10% off your purchase. Get a free door prize. But you know what? More than any of that, go support local. Go pick his brain. He knows what he's talking about. He's guiding us. The ribs, Joe, today. They're amazing. I sent you the pictures. You didn't even comment. You
I
was
didn't get them.
drooling.
I didn't get them.
Oh, well.
They did not deliver. So I actually went to my phone immediately and was like, "Where are these pictures he's talking about?" I did the trifecta on a turkey breast on Saturday.
Yeah, I saw it. It was great.
Yeah, super
Go
good.
see Mean Joe Green at the Big Bear Barbecue Supply in Depew at 425 French Road, Depew, New York. Get some counsel, get some supplies, go crazy. You're going to love it.
Awesome. Let's finish this thing up. What you got next?
Well, just because I couldn't go after Dorian Williams, I have to add Terrell Bernard. Also, with a little bit of over pursuit. Where's he going, Joe? I mean, I don't understand this at all. So Terrell Bernard is on the bottom right of your screen. Dorian Williams is on the bottom left of your screen. They got heavy alignment, right? Where they got a tight end, they got two receivers out. Let's watch the play one more time. And really, it's pretty much just split zone again. But but we got to look at where Terrell Bernard fills. Okay, it's split zone again.
What makes it split zone? Talk to me, like, just define that for me.
Ooh, I will do that. Okay, split zone is the term they're using for a tight end who runs, or a tackle, because Dion does it, Spencer Brown does it. If the entire line is going to the left and the guy that's lined up on the left, whether it's the tackle or the tight end, comes across to the right side and kicks out the end. It's kind of a form of power without the angle blocking. It's zone blocking where you're adding a guy coming across. So as you're looking at the screen right now, the tight end who's behind the left tackle on the snap of the ball is going to go across the formation while the entire offensive line goes to the left. He goes to the right. Now, he's got Dorian Williams, right? He's got Von Miller at width. Why is Terrell Bernard flying across this formation?
Why is he chasing the runner? Yeah.
He should be sitting right here behind, I think it's Daquan Jones. I'm not sure.
No, that's Phillips, Jordan Phillips.
All right, Jordan Phillips.
Yeah.
Now, you could argue Jordan Phillips could do a little better job on the double team, although it's not bad at all. But he overflows. I love that. And then when he corrects, it's too late. He gets punked. And there goes Jonathan Taylor right down the field. Let's run it in full time. So I guess the long and short of what I'm trying to say is the Colts have a good plan. They have good personnel, and they have one hell of a running back. And you don't know what variety of plays your opponent's going to run until you start seeing it.
Right.
Now, you want.
By the way, the guy the double team was Austin Johnson. I thought you were talking about Jordan Phillips, who was on the right side of him. So that was Austin Johnson.
Okay, you're right. Austin Johnson over here.
Yep.
What's the point? The point is, we want to do a better job earlier in the game diagnosing, having our gap integrity, coming downhill and stopping the run. Like once we diagnose, we got to get up into the line of scrimmage in our gaps, and we take a little time to do that. I mean, that's what we've seen historically. Thankfully, we've seen in the second half the opposite, right? So let's take
Hang
a
on a
look.
second before you take that down. Andy says it looks like he was following the crack blocker to fill that gap, but the run didn't go there. And what you're saying is probably that's what he's doing, but that's not what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to stay in his gap, right?
Well, right. I mean, you got Dorian Williams on that side of the ball.
And Vaughn's out there. Like that tackle's getting made if he goes out there.
All right. So we've got Terrell Bernard going too far past the midline.
Gotcha.
All right. Where's he going?
We're heavy to the left instead of being balanced, right?
Yep. Yeah, more or less. It's gap integrity is really what we're talking about.
Very cool. Thanks for the question, Andy. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Andy. All right, let's switch over to, this is weak zone by them. And I'll tell you another thing too, which kind of shocked me. The Colts changed their running attack in the second half. They ran similar plays, but not the same schematically. And I thought to myself, why? They were having such great success. For example, they run weak zone to the right here. Why aren't they running split zone where they had so much success? They could have pulled the tight end just as easily here as running weak zone. So they run weak zone. This is now, we're in the third quarter of the game. The Bills are juiced up, deciding they're going to play. Look at the extension the defensive tackle has. Look at Groot setting the edge. We've got Taron Johnson coming downhill. We have Terrell Bernard flowing, and that this play just gets eaten alive. Why? Because guys have gap integrity and they're attacking the line of scrimmage.
That's a great tackle by Dorian Williams.
One more time. Here you go. They're flying into the line. Boom, boom. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. It's really great defense. Great defense.
And it was much better than it obviously was against the Dolphins the week prior, which is hopeful. And I think we talked about the fact that they're going to have to be better about their gap integrity in this game. And outside of the one play that you showed, the second video, and then you don't have it, but or maybe you do. Do you have the long run by Jonathan Taylor, or do you not have that one?
No, I didn't choose that one.
It looks like you might have one more.
I do have one more,
but when we get, let's talk about the other one first. So effectively, what happened on the long one? If you remember seeing it, just tell us kind of like verbally versus having the actual video.
Yeah. So we were expecting and have seen them running between the tackles. So the Colts wrinkled it up a little bit and they headed out wide right. Now, Casey Toohill was in a kind of a narrow technique, but playing the B gap inside of the tackle. So we were effectively, I don't want to say we were slanting in, but we were holding ground on the inside gap to funnel everything outside. When Damar Hamlin came up and run support, he had the incorrect angle. And look, that happens, but kind of don't want to let it happen, right? You want to funnel everything back into the field, right? So Damar was too shallow when he started to break to the sideline. He should have stemmed it off a little bit higher. His stem, and this is like a pass route, the stem.
Right.
He should have broken off his stem earlier to funnel that back into the linebackers.
Gotcha. Very good. Just wanted to talk about it because I'm sure that's probably the one play everybody remembers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about it last night. I think it kind of, I think there are enough people. I saw it on Twitter all over the place. I want to bring something fresh, Joe.
Well, you got one more. Bring the Mentos because you got one more.
Mentos. All right. This is a shout out for the big guys in the middle. I'm going to run it. It's basically zone or split zone, and watch the defensive tackles. Just nobody else even gets close. It's just two defensive tackles just mashing everything up. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Watch it again. So when you're strong at the point of attack and you can keep the linebackers pretty clean, It's just it helps out the defense so much. When you're playing offensive line, you think, I've got my assignment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a split zone play. They're taking the right tackle coming across. It's actually more like power in a way. So they're acing the backside. That's center and guard on the backside. They're single blocking the guard on the front side, and they're single blocking the tackle. And the whole point of this, they're trying to add one guy to the play side. But what you get is a defensive tackle just absolutely destroying the left guard, standing him up in place. And he more or less neutralizes the tackle that's pulling. And then my eyeballs are not helping me. That's Phillips. Okay.
Yeah,
On the center.
Jordan Phillips on the left, and then
Yep.
again Austin Johnson on the
And
right.
Austin Johnson on the right. And what they do is they just collapse this little seam right here. And they just absolutely end up destroying this play. Just the two of them. Really, nobody even gets close. No one else gets close. Two guys in the middle against four offensive linemen, and they effectively end the play for a 2-yard gain.
And it's interesting too, because we get kind of tied up in that whole watching who's subbing in and subbing out, right? And if it's not Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones and Groot, then we're kind of like a little sketchy when you're talking about Jonathan Taylor, some of these guys behind the offensive line. Do we have our best guys out there? And you've shown now 2 plays, I think, where effectively Austin Johnson the back, and one of these guys showed up this week. Clearly he's been a Buffalo Bill twice. This is his 3rd tenure with the Bills.
Yeah, right.
But this is Tuhill, this is Austin Johnson, this is Jordan Phillips, and then Von Miller on the outside on the left side, that are effectively doing a great job buttoning up the run game from the Colts.
Right, and this is deep into the 3rd quarter on this drive.
Right. Somebody just said in the comment section, I think it was Daniel, 107 yards in the first half. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor helped by that long run, and then only 7 yards rushing in the second half. Now, they were playing a little bit of catch-up football, but still, that's something to be talked about.
So, which also, like, why are you so afraid of the run if they're playing catch-up football now? Like, all right, and I'm not talking to Daniel. I'm just saying, we get into a panic attack. Or like, oh, my God, he had 107 yards in the first half. And you're all getting all the klimped. And then, as it turns out, in the second half, they're playing from behind. So they've essentially, and I thought they abandoned the run game too early.
They did. They had a lead. They had a lead on the Bills. They should have stuck with it.
Well, the problem was plays like this, plays like the last play, right?
Right.
The Bills were heading into the gaps and really coming downhill. But it's a kiss me deadly, Joe. I mean, I can make every argument for the opposite side of what I'm saying, but what I'm saying flat out is I'd rather be the team that's hot in the second half than the team that's hot in the first half.
Yeah, very much. I'd like to be hot the whole game. I know that's an improbability.
I do too, but clearly we have to choose.
You're definitely not wrong. Before we wrap this show up, and great job on the breakdowns, those were good plays. Any final thoughts or any thoughts going into the Chiefs game? The Chiefs are coming into Highmark Stadium. It was reported today that the Bills have opened the 21-day window for Matt Milano to return. The expectation is obviously sometime after the bye. I doubt it'll be the week after the bye, but maybe the week after the 2 weeks after the bye. What do you feel like the Bills need to clearly keeping Mahomes in the pocket, much like when you're playing Josh Allen, is important. So you're talking about maintaining the edges, making sure that the edges are secure. But what do you feel they're gonna have to work on or pinpoint, I guess is what I'm trying to say, to have the right outcome against the Chiefs?
Yeah, I think as a defense, right, we want to limit the number of burst plays in the running game. That does hurt us. I think it hurts us more in a psychological, mental confidence way. I think we need to shut down the middle between the tackles.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question about it that I think we can respond pretty well on the edges to the run. We have to neutralize the center of the field, right? Kelsey is a threat in the center of the field, right? We just got to take care of that. I am excited to see Von Miller. I think Von Miller's kind of had this game bookmarked in his mind a little bit. And I think he's had a couple now. He did a couple things that I wanted to choose a couple plays by him. They weren't terribly impactful to the game, so I held off. But he did a couple of things with his body last night that I was like, oh, wow, okay. That's a burst. That's a I'm back kind of thing. And it affected the play, but nothing that made you go, whoa. Now, offensively, Look, I hope we got one or two of our receivers back. I think we're okay, though. I think mentally, spiritually, we're in a good place with JA-17,
Yeah.
having come off probably a very self-disappointing performance, right? Or performance that in his own eyes, he's going back and said, really? Did I throw those two passes? And then that other one that, like, what the hell was I doing? Somebody's going to pay for this. Oh,
Right.
let's make it those guys.
Let's make it
Right?
the Chiefs
Yeah.
for sure. Good stuff, John. Always a pleasure.
Lastly,
Yes.
man, we got too many penalties. You know, 1 week it's on the defense, 1 week it's on the offense. We gotta get rid of them damn penalties. I meant to say it last night with the big O, but we only had a 3-hour show last night. I couldn't get to everything.
Got to clean them yellow flags up. Well, expect a lot of more penalties. Is that proper English? A lot of more
No, it
penalties?
isn't. And I don't want more. I want fewer.
Fewer, many fewer.
Yes, sir.
Expect more penalties, especially when if it happened, just so happens that Pat Mahomes throws an interception or two in that football game. Expect them to be called back on defensive holding penalties or some sort like that. But as I said, always a pleasure doing this with you, John. Thank you so much for bringing your expertise and your knowledge to this show and to our network. And thanks to everybody else that has joined us in the comments section. Appreciate all you guys and all the questions and all the interaction. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning into the Off Tackle with John Fina show on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by Believe and brought to you every Victory Monday is brought to you by Big Bear Barbecue. My man, Joe Green, your source for sauce. Please go see him in Depew. It's right near Antoinette's. Everybody knows where Antoinette's is. I have no idea where Antoinette's is, but everybody
when I was a player, everybody was like, oh, we're going to Antoinette's. And I was like, all right. I felt like it was like common knowledge, right? You go to Schwabel's, you go to Antoinette's.
It's hysterical. But appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Tomorrow on The Beat with Josh Reed. Wednesday, Hump Day Hotline. Thursday, The Big O Show with Jerry Ostrowski as he brings you your first real in-depth preview and his keys to the game on how to beat the Chiefs. But for me, for John, for Jerry, for all of us here at Overreaction, we love you guys. We appreciate you. Go Bills.
Good night, Bonnie Clark. Go Bills.
It's my mama. Good night, Mom. Love you.